Imagine you're at a store browsing for a new jacket. You find one you like, but just as you go to buy it, you spot a tag saying, limited edition. Suddenly, the jacket seems more appealing. You hadn't noticed the time before, but now it feels urgent. You feel like you have to make a quick decision. As a result, you buy the jacket even though you didn't plan on it and perhaps didn't even need it. This phenomenon is called the scarcity principle, which describes why we tend to value things more when they become rare or limited. Now, this principle can be applied to everything from material goods to services and even relationships. The key is understanding how it works and being aware of the tricks that marketers and salespeople use to exploit it. You should also understand that it isn't always a bad thing. Sometimes scarcity can motivate us to seize opportunities and make the most of limited resources. So before we delve into the darker aspects of the scarcity principle, let's first look at some examples of how it can be used for good. One great example is in personal finance. When money is tight, it can be helpful to remind yourself that you have a limited amount that you need to make the most of. This can help you cut back on unnecessary expenses and focus on what really matters. Additionally, having a limited amount of money can incentivize you to earn more. When you know that you have to make your current funds last, you may be more likely to take on extra work or look for ways to increase your income. Another area where the scarcity principle can be beneficial is in productivity. When we have a lot of tasks to complete, it can be overwhelming and difficult to get started. But if we frame the task as a limited one, meaning it has a deadline or a specific time frame in which it needs to be completed, it can help us focus and get things done. This is why many productivity experts recommend setting deadlines for tasks, even if they aren't firm deadlines. Just having a target completion date can help you stay on track and make sure that you finish the task at hand. Now let's talk about the negative side of the scarcity principle and how it can be exploited to manipulate us. The first way it can be used against us is through marketing and advertising. Marketers are well aware of the scarcity principle, and they use it to create a sense of urgency and encourage us to buy their products or services. Phrases like limited time offer, while supplies last, or get it before it's gone, are all designed to trigger our fear of missing out and convince us to act quickly. But the truth is that these offers are often not as scarce as they seem. Companies will sometimes create artificial scarcity by limiting the availability of a product or service, even though it's actually in high supply. The goal is to make you feel like you're getting a great deal by buying something that's in demand, but in reality, you're just falling for a clever marketing tactic. Another way the scarcity principle can be used against us is in negotiations. When we're negotiating for a raise at work or trying to buy a car, for example, the other party may try to create a sense of urgency or limit the options available to us. They may tell us that the company is hesitant to give out raises or that the price of the car won't be going down anytime soon. This is designed to put pressure on us to accept whatever offer is on the table without considering our options carefully. To avoid falling for this trick, it's important to remember that scarcity is often just a negotiating tactic and not an accurate reflection of the true value of what's being offered. Take your time, consider your options, and don't be afraid to walk away from a deal that doesn't make sense. The third area where the scarcity principle can cause problems is in relationships. When someone we care about starts pulling away or becoming less available, it can create a sense of urgency and make us feel like we need to act fast to get them back. However, this feeling of scarcity can often be a mirage. The person who we think is becoming less available may actually just need some space or time to think things through. In these situations, it's important to resist the urge to chase after someone who isn't ready to commit and instead focus on building our own happiness and well-being. Chasing after someone who isn't interested in us will only lead to more pain and heartache. Now that you know some of the ways the scarcity principle can be used against you, here are some tips on how to defend yourself from falling for these tricks. First, be aware of the signs of scarcity. This means paying attention to language like limited time offer or while supplies last, and recognizing that these are tactics designed to create urgency and encourage you to buy or act. Don't fall for the hype. Remember that scarcity is often artificial and not a reflection of the actual value of a product or service. Do your research and make sure that you're making a smart decision before you buy. Don't be afraid to walk away from a deal that doesn't make sense. Also, don't be afraid to ask questions. If something seems too good to be true, it probably is. Asking questions will not only help you avoid falling for scarcity tricks, but it will also help you build trust and rapport with the other party. This is especially important in situations like job negotiations where your future earnings are at stake. By asking questions, you can get a better sense of the true value of the offer and make sure that you're not just falling for scarcity tactics. Finally, be patient. When you're in a situation where there is a sense of urgency, take a step back and think things through carefully. Don't let yourself get pressured into doing something that you're not comfortable with. Remember, no deal is worth sacrificing your financial security or your mental peace. In conclusion, the scarcity principle is a powerful psychological phenomenon that can influence our decisions in both positive and negative ways. While it can be helpful to use scarcity to motivate ourselves to take action and make the most of limited resources, it's important to be aware of the tactics that marketers, salespeople, and even our own emotions may use to exploit our fear of missing out. By understanding how the scarcity principle works and being vigilant for the signs of scarcity, we can protect ourselves from making impulsive decisions and ensure that we're always getting the best possible deals and opportunities. So next time you see a flashing sale sign or hear a salesperson say limited time offer, take a moment to pause and reflect before you act. You may just be saving yourself from a major headache down the road.